So now for module 1.2, we are again going to look at a case study. The case study is the Green Living Community Initiative. Now, what is the background of the case study? It is about Harmony Hills, which is a newly developed residential community on the outskirts of a rapidly growing city. It was designed with a strong emphasis on sustainability, featuring eco friendly homes, shared green spaces, and community gardens. The developers marketed it to individuals and families who prioritized environmental consciousness and a sense of community. Now, this talks about a project which was made for residents, and the project wanted to give a more holistic way of living to this community. Now we're going to take a look at who were the stakeholders, who were the main key people whom the green living was talking about. Now the stakeholders was the developer who the Green Solution Incorporate, which came about with this community development project. It aspired to create a profitable, sustainable community and build a reputation as leaders in eco friendly development. Value innovation, environmental stewardship, and long term financial viability. That people would live well and also were able to afford the same. Then we have the early residents, the stakeholders again. The early residents we are going to be calling the pioneers. So, primarily young to middle aged professionals and families who actively sought out Harmony Hills. They were looking for a good residential area. Their core aspirations include living a life congruent with their environmental values, fostering a close knit community, and providing a healthy upbringing for their children. They also sustainable community engagement and well being. Now, who were the other stakeholders? They were the newer residents, little later than the pioneers, the integrators. They joined the community after their initial establishment, often drawn by the aesthetic appeal because the community looked good. They wanted a flat in the community, good schools, or favorable property, values in addition to some interests in sustainability. Their aspirations might be more varied than the pioneers, including financial stability, good education for children, and a comfortable lifestyle. Their values might include convenience, practicality, and good return on investment, alongside a moderate interest in green living. Then, another set of stakeholders, local government or the urban planning department, which may have given permissions for the green living community to come into place, aspiring to promote sustainable urban growth and improve the quality of life for citizens, values responsible for the development of public welfare and long term infrastructure planning. They wanted a society or a community which was safer for the citizens. Now, what were the challenges or the conflicts in the scene? As Harmony Hills grew, a subtle tension emerged. What was the tension? The pioneers had strong aspirations for a truly communal and environmentally rigorous lifestyle. They initiated numerous community projects, a composting program, a tool sharing library, a community run organic farmers market, and regular community cleanup drives. Very normal. Their values prioritized collective action and deep commitment to sustainability. However, some integrators, while appreciating the great amenities, found the level of the expected community participation of the pioneers and the strict adherence to environmental practices. Example, rigid recycling rules, limitations on lawn chemicals, and they found this to be little burdensome. Their aspirations leaned more towards individual comfort and convenience, and while they valued the green living principle, they liked it, but in principle, their practical values sometimes prioritized ease and personal anatomy. They were basically thinking more about themselves rather than the community. So, what were the points of contention or discord that came about? The first point of discord was community garden participation. Pioneers expected regular volunteering hours for the community garden, seeing it as a core communal activity. Some integrators viewed it as a nice amenity but weren't keen on dedicating the stipulated time. They knew that the importance of the garden was more, the integrators, but they did not want to do much towards it to maintain it. Then we have composting programs. Pioneers meticulously sorted their compost, differentiation of garbage. Some integrators found it inconvenient and occasionally mixed in non compostable items, leading to frustration amongst the pioneers. Obviously, a person who is making an effort into doing something good, if something doesn't go that way or it is disrupted, the person who intends good will feel a little pinch or will feel frustrated. Then they had the rules, the landscaping rules. Pioneers advocated for stricter rules on native planting and chemical free lawns. Integrators sometimes preferred traditional low maintenance landscaping, even if it wasn't strictly green. So the pioneers were concentrating on the quality, whereas the integrators were thinking about spending less on the quality aspect. Community meetings. Pioneers valued frequent, in depth discussions. Integrators often found them lengthy and preferred quick updates or online communication, something which was shortcut. They didn't want physical um, spending time at all. Then we have analysis of aspirations and values, what the pioneers aspired and valued versus what the integrators aspire and valued. So the aspiration congruence versus divergence. The case highlights how shared initial aspirations, example, living in a greener community, can diverge as individual values, example, level of commitment, convenience versus collective effort. It comes into play. Idealism versus pragmatism. The pioneers represent a more idealistic aspiration for a sustainable communal utopia. Driven by strong environmental and social values, the integrators represent a more pragmatic approach, where green living is desirable but must align with the convenience of the individuals and the individual's lifestyle choices. Then we have evolution of community identity, how it evolves as a community, what are the steps that they take, and what the integrators did not want. The challenge of Harmony Hills is to reconcile these different aspirations and values to forge a coherent and a sustainable community identity that accommodates a broader spectrum of residents, both the pioneers and the integrators. Role of community leadership and transparent communication. The success of Harmony Hills in navigating this will depend on effective communication, empathetic leadership, and finding a common ground. We can never live at war always if we are living in the same space. So we do need to have a truce ground, a border area where both the parties can meet and can agree upon. So, what were the potential outcome or the solution? There were tiered participation models, offered different levels of engagement for community activities, allowing residents to contribute according to their capacity and values. Then we have education and awareness campaigns. Help integrators understand the why behind certain sustainable practices that the pioneers had to offer. How did they do it? They appealed to the aspirations of healthy environment to the families of integrators. Then we have flexible governance. When we had talked about the landscape, they could implement a more flexible system and balance core sustainability principles with individual preferences, perhaps offering choices rather than rigid mandates were feasible. Then we have conflict resolution, which is very, very important. Facilitating dialogue between the two groups was very important. The communication in between the two groups became very important to find mutually agreeable solutions. Solutions where both the parties agreed. Then we have highlighting tangible benefits. Benefits which were visible, benefits which were for both the pioneers and the integrators. Emphasize how sustainable practices lead to lower utility bills, healthier children, or increased property values, appealing to the integrators' practical aspirations and values. Then we had new community norms. Over time, the community might evolve a new set of norms that blend the pioneers and the integrators together as a community. The desire for convenience for the integrators and the strong commitment of the pioneers, creating a uniquely Harmony Hill approach to the greener living. So, that is the solution that we need to have. That is the solution that the case study of ours offer.